what we do at the Davidade Academy, who we are, why you can trust us, why you should trust us. Well, we're a learning platform where we train for. At the moment, we have maybe 3 or 4 courses. We have Power BI for data analysis. We have project management for Prince 2, project management Agile, which is what we're running right now. We have a business analysis course. We have SQL, and we have many other courses in the pipeline. So we want to get to a point where for every single thing you want to learn, um, we have something for you. So that's the idea behind the academy. It's not limited to tech. If there are other fields that we think there is a demand, we have the right trainers in place. We would offer those courses. So that's the goal. That's the vision. That's what we're working on. In terms of the things that drive us, 4 things that guarantee what you get when you learn with us. At the core of everything is we care. We genuinely care. I know there are many institutions, there are many people that are training, there are many people that are doing all sorts of different trainings and promising all sorts of things. The simple truth is we care, and you can hold me to that wherever you see me. We care. We are professionals. And when we say we'll do something at a particular time or in a particular date, be rest assured that we will. If for some reason we cannot, be sure that we'll communicate accordingly. We are professionals, and that goes also to the people that train for us. There are people that are trainers, and there are people that are professionals. So there are some trainers that actually cannot get a job in the things that they are training. So that's not who we are. The people that train for us are people that have established themselves in their respective fields. That's how we work. So people that have done the job, that have I can walk their talk, and the people that train for us. So before anybody comes on the platform to train for you, be rest assured that I've done my due diligence, and I am absolutely sure that they know what they're talking about. Um, Quality, in terms of the things that we do, how we do it, quality has to
Um.
shine through. Okay,
Okay.
Ayo. Okay,
Yeah.
Ayo.
Good morning. Sorry, I
Good
was
morning.
having issues with my network earlier, but I think you called my name.
Okay, I
Yeah.
wanted
So,
an intro, but if you can just chill, let me finish this my
all
small
right.
presentation, then we'll take my
That's
intro.
fine. That's fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so quality is at the core of center of many of the things, everything that we do. We want to be sure that in everything we do, the quality shines through. We don't do anyhow things. We don't do higiaga. We don't cut corners. So that you can be sure of. And excellence, by the time you have care, professionalism, quality, then everything you do will be excellent. And ultimately, that's what we care about. Our success story is not when you complete the course. Our success story is when you're able to actually land the job in the field that you've learned something from. That's where the journey ends. So everything we can do to help you in that journey, we certainly will do. That is what we do. Very quickly, I'll talk through our learning model. Learning model is basically um, how what's it like when you learn with us. That's what this is. Uh, for everybody that joins our school, you get your full like Office 365 license. That gives you access to different Microsoft apps and resources for the duration of the course. That also lets you explore other things like Azure that are not necessarily related to your course, but because you have the license, you can explore those things. Every single training we do is hands-on and instructor-led, so we don't play videos for you to watch. No, for every single time you attend a class, there is a trainer in front of you teaching you live, hands-on. So that's how we teach. At the end of your course, you get like a project to test whatever you learned, just so we are confident that okay, we've done our best and this person is good to go. And then after that, if you decide you want to take a professional certification, we are going to guide you, we are going to support you, we are going to help you through that process. Because again, the goal, the ultimate success story is somebody that has actually gotten into an industry, not someone that has completed the course. So if you want to take a professional exam, we will support you, we will guide you, we will help you to see it through. And then if you decide to take the exam, we would be there to make sure you actually pass the exam. Also, not all courses have professional exams that can be taken, but where there is one, it's our responsibility to help you and to get you through. So yeah, in terms of the David Ade Academy side of the introduction, that's pretty much it. The next person that I'll speak to you is going to be the actual Agile Project Manager. He's going to tell you about himself, what he does, and for sure he knows exactly what he's talking about. He's been in the game. He's worked for some very big names, but I'll let him review what he wants to review. Before we do that, Ayo, let's have your introduction.
Oh well, yeah. Good morning. My name is I am Ide.
Yeah,
Um.
good morning.
Well, I want to learn this because I'm trying to break into the EPPR sector. I'm a disaster manager, and that's like one of my core career path. And I've come to realize project management knowledge or skill is one of the main important thing that you need to have, and that's why I want to learn this.
Cool. Thank you for joining us. I believe you're at the right place. Does any other person want to do any quick intro before we hand the floor over to Tolu, who is the person that will be taking us on today's session? It's not going to be long. You expect to be in and around 1 hour. So does any other person want to say anything before I hand the floor over to Tolu? So he can tell us, share us the good stuff that he has for us. Nobody. Tolu, are you ready for us? Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, you can use your hand. Don't worry, though. You don't have to. Just show me. Ah, cool. So yeah, for Tolu, I think the floor is yours now. I'm going to put you on the spotlight so everybody can see your video in full, and I'm going to minimize myself. So, Tolu, the floor is yours now. Take it away.
Good morning. Thanks, David. Good morning, David. Good morning, everyone. I hope we're all doing well. I was glad that we've been able to join. I know. Please let me know once you can see my screen.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I can see it now. I can see it now.
Okay, nice. Thank you. I know we all have competing responsibilities on weekend, so I'm glad that you were able to make time to join. So yeah, without any further ado, we'll just jump into it. So we'll start with an introduction for myself. I have a bachelor's degree and an MBA from OAU. My initial will I say competency or experience was in accounting and the finance world, and then I transited into Agile Project Management, which is some sort of IT related role, even though it's just more like project managing and getting things done. I currently work with one of the consulting firms in the UK, which means that I work very, very closely with clients to try and help them to get their projects over the line, I mean, and meet what objectives that those projects were set out to meet in the first place. I've done several projects in several industries, including government and infrastructure more recently, but I've done technology, media, and telecoms as well. So, and like I said, my initial experience was in banking, so I have lots of experience across different industries. I've worked different types of products, data related products, IT, back end, front end, all those great stuff. And so I have good experience with agile delivery, product management, coaching, mentoring, and stuff like that. So I have a few certifications that have also helped me over the years to be able to do my role the way I'm supposed to do it. And then in terms of teaching approach, we'll talk about that later, but just try and be practical with the teaching, try and discuss relevant stuff for Adirunke, who is here. We're here to support you. A lot of the teaching will be tailored to help you pass the Agile Project Management certifications. So rest assured that you'll be able to do that with our support. But yeah, like we said, providing personalized guidance to help you achieve your goals of certifications and as well as getting roles on the job. We know certifications in itself is not a it's not an end in itself. It's, of course, we're trying to get those certifications to be able to get jobs, and so we'll do our best to handhold you throughout the process. But yeah, that's me. I'll pause here in case there are any comments, questions, or any thoughts. Just a few minutes and then we'll move on. Nothing.
Guys, it's an open session. So if you have any question at any point in time, raise up your hand, drop it in the comments. I'll be tracking those, and yeah. So Lulu can carry on. If there's anything, I'll let you know.
Thank you. So yeah, we want to start by establishing the facts. First, And this is very, very fast. Agile project management recognized as a high demand skill. Well, lots of vacancies across the UK, lots of projects are going agile, and so they need people. And yeah, you'd see with the 213 for IT project and program managers, um, similar to agile project management, you can get sponsorship, you can get good roles, good jobs with agile project management. Moving on to the next, wherever you are in the world, you are sure that if you are an agile project manager, you'd be able to, your income will be something great. So what I've done here is to more like show an average income across UK, US, Canada, Australia. So you know that even for people who are in the UK today and want to move to other countries in the future, having agile project management certifications and experience is very, very valuable. And if you are outside the UK today, I can also assure you that wherever it is you are, that certification and experience is valuable.
Yeah. Can I just come in briefly before you continue?
Okay.
So on these figures that we have on the screen, I know sometimes it's easy for people to think, oh, you're just bringing up these figures because you want to sell your course and all of that. But I'll tell you the simple truth. Um, what you think it takes to earn this amount is usually not as crazy as it actually is in the industry. Sometimes you think a 50K job or 60K job is so far and away from you, and I promise you, with the right skills, with the right knowledge, and with the ability to talk your talk, it's not as far as you think. And I say this as someone that learned Power BI for just 6 months and went from that to becoming a lead in 2 countries. So it's very, very possible. Don't look at these amounts and think, oh, it's not possible. Oh, it's hard. Oh, I don't know anything. I promise you, it doesn't take 6, 10 years to get to those amounts. If you know what you're doing and you can talk about it like you know what you're doing, these things can happen to you in less than a year. And that's the simple truth. Because learning the skill is one thing, but being able to convince the interviewer that the person talking to you at this particular moment is the right person is another skill. So just to let you know, they are not out of reach as they usually seem. They are very, very much within reach with the right skills and resources. Thank you, Arian.
Thank you. True. True, yeah. And like we say, we're here to support you all through the way. So again, just want to show a couple of project management roles that require knowledge of Agile. You'd see with this Agile Prince 2, you see here ITIL and Agile. So I guess the point I was trying to make here is that it's very, very valuable. Having a certification is very, very valuable on your journey to get a role. And like we have emphasized throughout this call, um, if if you are confident enough to take confidence in us enough to take up the course, we'll be able to support you throughout the process. There's something we say in our local parlance: follow who know road. And for people who move or who have relocated to other countries, a lot of you know that a lot depends on the level of information you have, level of mentorship you have, so that you can more like break through industries or break into industries with the right information at the right time. So I'll just saying this to encourage you that yeah, it's well and good to have those ambitions and stuff, but it's also very, very important to have the right people holding you through that journey. So next we'll move to project management proper. um we're going to have a conversation. It's just a basic conversation around project management, not in depth, not deep. It's just project management in general. There'll be some aspects of agile project management in that conversation, but like I said, not deep, just very general, so that you can have a more like an idea of what to expect when you join us. Um, so at this point, I'll just like to check in with us. And please feel free. if you want to comment, you can raise your hand. If you want to use the chat, I'm happy for you to use the chat if you are shy. But whatever works for you. But yeah, does anyone have an idea of what project management is, or and does it have to be academic? Just maybe just whatever comes to your mind whenever you hear project management.
Am I allowed to answer?
No, you are not.
Okay.
Thank you, David. Thanks,
Please don't
Uzo.
carry on.
Uzo, you have the floor. You can unmute.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I think project management involves managing of areas of, or let's say sections of a project, ensuring delivery and success in terms of the constraints and limitations or objectives of the project itself.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? That was that was very academic, but yeah, very very correct. Thanks. Any other thoughts?
Can I go now?
Okay, David.
So what I know about project management is the end good money. It's a career path that even me I have considered. So firstly, I know the end good money. Secondly, I know it is non-technical, and this is because I come from a computer background. I know PM roles are not very technical, so you're not writing code and all of the boring stuff. Because even with 2 degrees in computer science, I don't like coding. So yes, I know it's not very technical, but I also know they shoulder a lot of responsibility in terms of project delivery. Because at the end of the day, a company has a PM to absolve themselves of the headache of a project not being delivered. So they just dump it on you straight away. Did we get the project? If we got it, oh nice, congratulations. If we did not get it, then you're on the hot seat. So I'll leave it at that. I think Ashabi has something to say.
Thanks, David. Over to you,
Yeah,
Ashabi.
thank you. So for me, project management is using methods, skills, or processes to actually achieve an end goal. It has to do with managing people, ensuring they deliver as appropriate based on the agreed scope at the beginning of the project. And also has to do with being time conscious and being able to carry everybody along, being able to communicate clearly. I think that would actually just help in layman terms.
Thanks, Ashabi. That was also very academic. Um, I guess I'll just move on. But thank you. All the answers were very, very correct. So I'll move on. I just very, very simple answer, bringing things to life. So you have an idea, you have an event, you have whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. Of course, like Ashabi said, within certain constraints, we'll go into that later. But you want to bring it to life. You want to jackpot from Nigeria. There are processes that you have to follow. Um, so you have to project manage those processes so that you can meet the objective of jackpotting. You want to build a house, you yeah, there are processes you must lay down and follow, and you must plan all that to be able to achieve and do that religiously to be able to achieve your goal within the necessary timelines and then within the cost. Do you want an event, a wedding? The date has been fixed, so you have a fixed time. You have so yeah, it's just like I said, bringing things to life, organizing around the resources you have to be able to bring ideas um what's the word or plans to life so that you be able to resolve some issues that you are currently experiencing. So there are 5 phases of a project, and for me, I just wanted it to be simple so that we can easily relate and we can easily understand. There are more complex definitions of that, but yeah, just an easier one will be helpful. There are 5 phases of a project, and I'll use the example of say building a house. we have the initiation stage. So that's the stage where, for instance, you are meeting with your architect to agree on, oh, this is the kind of building I want. I want a 5-bedroom house. I want it to be very big. I want a swimming pool. I want this. I want that. And then the person is saying, oh, how much do you have? When do you need it? So you're agreeing all those very, very high level details at the initiation stage. So once you've zoned in on those details, I want a 5-bedroom flat house. I want it in Ikoyi, Banana Island, Lagos, or somewhere in London. I want it in five months. I want if so the team goes back and then plan. This is what this person wants. How do we achieve it? What's the best way of making it possible within the time frame, the costs that he has provided, and the resources that we have? So you plan it out. Um, Within the first month, we do our foundation. Second month, we do lintel. Third month, we do roofing. Fourth month, we do plumbing. So you just plan all from the beginning to the end. That's what happens in the planning phase. You move to the execution phase. That's when you bring boots on ground, machines on ground, start achieving them. And then that's the doing in itself. Of course, the project manager will be involved throughout the phases. The execution phase is sorry, I just spoke about the execution phase. So the monitoring phase is to ensure, oh, we've just finished the foundation. We intended it to be this large, and yes, it's as large as we wanted it to be. Concrete to be this thick, it's as thick as it wanted it to be. So we're fine with that, the execution of that phase. We are happy to go to the next phase of putting the blocks and building it up and stuff like that. It's just periodically going through to ensure that the plans, what we have done, is in line with what we had planned out at the onset. And then after that's done, when we get to the end of it, we close the project. Oh, we're done with the project. What have we learned during this project? What do we need to document? And I know I'm using the a construction as an example, but and Agile project management is for IT, but I just wanted an example that we can easily relate to. Of course, when we get on the course, we can dig deeper and discuss some more. And even on this session, we'll discuss some more IT related examples. But yeah, for the purpose of this aspect of the of the training, I just want very, very basic. And then, like I said, closure, we get all the documents, give it to the client. Oh, this is your building documents, this is the approval we got, this is land documents, this is everything. And then also hand over the keys and every other equipment or whatever it is that you have to them, and provide reports where necessary. So those are the those are the 5 phases of the project. So we'll move on to the project constraints. I had touched on this very earlier. So it's more like the boundaries within which we have to work as project managers. So using the example of the building that we just spoke of, the client has said, I need the building in 5 months. So that a lot will depend on the time you have. So because he has said it's 5 months, but he wants, for instance, a 5-bedroom house in Ikoyi, Lagos, and just has 10 million naira to build. So we know he's joking. He can't expect that. So at the end of the day, you need to walk around. So you go back and tell him, Mr. Client, this is unreal. With this amount, we have to go to maybe Oshogbo to build a bungalow for you. You get just something in that line. But I get the point is we have to work within all these 3 variables to be able to agree on the plan in the first place. So we know what the cost is or what the budget of the client is, or whether it's your own organization. We know the budget, we know what the realities are. And at the end of the day, it's okay for you to now reduce the scope of the project because your budget or your timeline cannot accommodate it. I.e., I have a wedding. Um, the event I've gotten, the event center I've gotten is 100 seater. So I can't be planning for 300 guests. So So you have to work around all these three variables to be able to come to be able to agree on what's feasible, what's possible, what can be done, and then plan out from there. So I'll move again. So there are several approaches to project management, but I just want to touch on waterfall and agile because I would say in IT project management they are the most important. Waterfall, like Ashabi would know everything about, is stage by stage. So each stage has a stage gate at this stage, and this is more related to the execution phase of the project. So when we are doing the do, we get the requirements, we know what the requirements are. Oh, this person wants a 5 bedroom house, he wants it in Ikoyi, he wants it to have a swimming pool, he wants to have a gate man, he wants to have a fence. And so you get the requirements, you document it. Once that's done, you carry the documents to the client. The client says, yes, I agree. This is what we discussed. This is what I want. Once that's done, you move. Oh, proof of concept. What? How can we prove that this is feasible? You do a proof of concept, take it to the same client. Client signs off, is happy with it. Then you go to the design. Your architects or whatever they are design whatever the solution is. And again, so you go phase by phase. Each phase have criteria that must be met to be able to progress to the next phase. And it's a waterfall in the sense that you're not jumping any phase, you go one after the other to the next, to the next. And so you go throughout that process. You finish the design, you go to the software engineers, they code whatever they need to code, fine, take that to the test. You sign off at that point, take that to the test team, they also test, they're fine, they meet the exit requirement, sign off, move it to operations team to do whatever needs to be done. And so it's a phased process and it goes phase by phase. In contrast, agile, it is you break it down into very, very small bits. And you are doing that incrementally and um what's the word? You're doing that iteratively and incrementally. Those are the words. So what happens? Want a house. Let's use the house matter, the house example. But that may not make so much sense, but let's try it anyways. So want a house, we say, oh, what's the most important bit of the house that we must have to be able to start? So we assume you want, oh, you need a bedroom, you need maybe a toilet and a bedroom, and then maybe a kitchen. Those are the most important bits that you need. We build that out, we do everything, all the phases, requirement, study, proof of concept, design, coding, all of that. And then we build bedroom, toilet, and bedroom, as well as kitchen for you. So once that's done, we show it to you. You're happy with it. You say, oh, that's nice. And then we can move on to, or you could say, no, I didn't think it was going to be this way. So we'll go back, try and resolve that, sort that out, and then move on. So you just keep doing it in bits and pieces. Now I'll give you an example, a more technical example. So let's look at WhatsApp. WhatsApp started with, oh, we want to chat. So you're just chatting. That was what WhatsApp was. And then you moved on to, oh, you can have a profile picture, you can have a profile name, you can have that. And then it just kept on little by little, incrementally. Oh, you can have a voice call, and then you can have a video call, and then so they just keep building. When they perfect something, little by little, when they perfect something, they move on to the next, and they just keep building, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's what agile will be. However, waterfall, what that means is with waterfall, you get all your requirements from the onset. So it may take you 10 years to build, but you go through that process and you build it in 10 years. However, agile, maybe in the first 2 months, you have something for the client to take a look at. They're happy with it or they're unhappy with it. And they give you feedback, you sort it out, and you just keep building and building and building. But within the first 1 month, it may be rubbish. but the client has something that they can see and that they can work with. So that's the idea behind Agile. And then we'll get to all those later. I don't want to get into my elements, but I guess just trying to hear your thoughts. Which would you think is a better framework? And at this point, I'll say Ashabi should please don't unmute. Stay muted. Which do you think is a better framework, Agile or Waterfall?
Me, I can unmute a bit.
Not you, David. Uzo, thank you.
I
Uzo,
think,
you have the floor.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I think both of them have like best case scenarios in terms of the kind of projects you can use them on. So me being in the construction sector, wouldn't be looking towards agile, although we might as well find ourselves doing some sort of agile things where we have to like keep on getting new requirements and all. But I think as for my sector, I still think the waterfall is more or less the best. With a bit of agile, yeah, a bit of agile. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Thanks, Uzo. Any other takers?
I really want to go, but I don't know why you're not taking me serious.
No, you David. Thank you. No. I wasn't expecting Ashabi. Well, in the interest of fairness, maybe let's take David first, then Ashabi afterwards.
Thank you. I think there are scenarios where both of them actually go hand in hand. Because to be fair, as you were speaking, it dawned on me that actually, because I have a small project management experience, even though I don't really refer to it like that. Like I don't really speak about it. So, for example, for those of you here that are familiar with the Nigerian beverage market, you know Schweppes Chapman and Schweppes Mojito, and even Five Alive Poppy, the 30 one. Those are projects that are actually managed and I brought to the market. So the whole waterfall approach makes complete sense because at the end of the project cycle is once we go to market. Once we go to market, then we're done. But the process that happens before we go to market is quite robust, down to the point of even tasting the product. Like before we decided on we want to do Chef's Chapman, you have to taste like 100 different types of chef flavors, and you have to think of okay, which one do we think resonates with the Nigerian market? Okay, which one do we think NAFDAC will approve because of the ingredients? Okay, which one do you think is good for our weather? Because there are some products that you cannot sell in Nigeria because the weather is so hot. There are some so for example, the Schweppes bottle, if you notice, it's green, like the PET, the plastic. The Schweppes bottle is green. It's not because of the brand color, it's because of exposure to sunlight. So it's like the way you wear shades outside because the sun is too bright. So the green bottle for Schweppes is actually the shade for the drink. It's to prevent direct sunlight. So there are many things that go into this process. And so waterfall aligns strictly with that. But then again, because I'm in IT, I do Power BI stuff. I understand Agile. I give them a first sample, then we go back and do refinements, and then I start doing updates and upgrades. So I understand there are situations where two of them might have to work together. You have the base as the waterfall, and then for future updates, you have to go Agile. And that WhatsApp example was actually the one that actually brought it to life because WhatsApp used to be for chatting. Now you have groups, you have communities, you can do video call. Even Twitter, for example, now you can do calls on Twitter. You can post jobs on Twitter. So yeah, I think there are places where both of them go hand in hand. But I think for software development, obviously Agile seems to be like the main one. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, David. Ashabi, very quickly, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So I think I was just going to say that we can also use Agile where you tend to use both process. You go waterfall and you go Agile. I consult for the water sector, so most of our projects are always waterfall. However, we have some clients that they will come back during the process and then say, oh, they want this, they want that. So that way we tend to go a bit of Agile while still making them know that, okay, this is basic waterfall methodology that we are using. So I think it's just dependent on while you're planning, you agree with your clients and say this is the method that you think will actually fit the project. There are some of them that are quite knowledgeable and they have experts in that field, and then they'll come back and tell you, no, I don't want you to use this methodology. I prefer this. Some will even bring a neutral methodology, and you wonder like, why are you trying to adopt this? So when you're doing all your options, you're giving them the options appraisal, you're telling them, okay, this is what you think is best for them, but they can come back and tell you, I want you to adopt this. So I'll still speak for both methodologies and not say which one is actually the best or something. Whatever works for that project, just tailor it to fit into the project demands.
Thanks, Ashabi. That was very helpful. So so I would say that question was actually a trick question. And everyone who has spoken has been very, very right. So two things, very, very fast. Um, Depending on the project, you need to sit down, look at the project, what fits best. So like like Uzo said, construction would definitely fit better with waterfall. Same with David and all. But then there are some other projects, typical, very, very typically application development and stuff like that. Agile, perfect. And then there are times that you have to mix the two, like Ashabi said, a combination. In fairness, there's no pure, there's no pure framework. So typically they all take from each other in its application in real life. So you would find that if when you're on the job, even though the project is waterfall, there's a bit of agile practices that are there, and then you find out even though the project is agile, there's a bit of waterfall. So there's that inter there's that inter what's the word the mix together, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make. But yeah, so at the end of the day, it just depends on the project. So we'll move on to the next. So what are their peculiarities? I think I've explained the first one. From the onset is stage gates. Each stage has criteria before you go to the next stage. Once you tick off all those criteria, you move to the next. That's with waterfall. Agile, iterative and incremental. You do small changes over time, and with planning, because you want to do everything at once, you have to plan very, very detailed from the onset. That's with waterfall. While with agile, because you're just doing beats, you just need to plan out the beat you are doing immediately. You do that beat, move to you get feedback from the client, and then move to the next, plan that the next little bit you want to do. So you keep planning in bits. Then team collaboration, in waterfall is more like handoffs. So you start with, say, a business analyst taking the requirement, and then move it to the system architect who they give the details of the requirement to the architect who builds what the structure should look like. The business analyst is still there. Architect moves it on to the developer. So it's just stage by stage. But for agile, you have like a combination of all of them because they are doing all those bits within each cycle of build. So there's that planning, there's that requirement. Usually design is upfront. So there's that requirement gathering, there's the coding, there's tests, and there's all that you do in each cycle building. And then documentation, usually very, very heavy documentation with waterfall, while it's minimal with agile. So so we've touched on this a bit, but so we say when do we use each of them? With waterfall, you have when you have defined scope, like for instance, let's go back and then, well, you have a very, very defined scope, and I'll give an example, probably an IT related example. Say we want to move, we're currently using, for instance, we're using Microsoft. At the moment, we want to move to, say, a Google, and be using Google for our own Google applications in our office. So we know this is what we need, this is the timeline we have, and we go with that. But bringing that to agile, I can almost bet with you that at the time the owners of WhatsApp started, they didn't plan to have video calls or statuses or groups. So for some of them, plenty times with the project, with the agile project is almost like it's just in existence. They just keep improving, improving. It's almost forever. They just keep improving and keep improving and keep improving. While the waterfall is like it's quite defined. You just do start, stop, move on. And then you have the timelines. We must finish this at a certain time and all with waterfall. Plenty times, sometimes you also have timelines with agile. But in its purest of forms, you're just supposed to just keep building, keep improving and keep improving and satisfying the client. So the timelines are not as steep as they would ordinarily be with waterfall. And then because you've planned so well, because it's so large, you know the risks with waterfall. But with agile, you may have an idea of the risk, but part of the risk management is breaking it into small chunks so that you can deal with those risks within those small chunks. And so plenty times you may not even know the risk until you get there. It's while doing it that you find some of those risks. And then value delivery. So with agile, with waterfall, for instance, you say, oh, we to want to deliver this. You have to wait. You don't see anything until we are done with the process. So you wait 6 months, a year, 2 years before you get a working software. However, with agile, you get that from the onset, and we just keep improving and improving and improving on that. So from the onset, you already have something that's working. It may not be what you want, it may not fit perfectly what you want, but there's something you are seeing and that's been improved on over time. So yep, have projects that are more that fit some of this. I mean, undefined scope, timelines can be very, very extended, not very fixed. You don't know so much of the risk, and you're happy to start from a very imperfect solution. Then yeah, agile works perfectly. But then if it's something a lot of application changing applications and stuff like that, waterfall will fit perfectly. Want to change something, this is the current, we currently use this CRM, want to move to a different CRM, that's waterfall. And so you have a very defined scope. We know clearly what we want. Plenty times with agile, you don't know what you want. And that's the truth. A lot of times clients don't even know what they want. So plenty times you have to walk through that process, fail a couple of times, but it's easier to fail because what you've committed is small. So if you fail at that point, it's not such a big deal. You move on to what you think is best. But failure in waterfall is a big deal because you spent 2 years working and spent all these resources and all. So the scope must be defined from the onset. Timelines also defined. You know the risk and value delivery. Again, I think just trying to pause in case you have any questions. I know I've spoken for a couple of minutes now. So I'll just like to get a feeler. Okay, guessing we're all good. So I'll go on. So why is agile valuable? Um, so I'll start with the time to market. So the time to market, almost immediately, there's something. It may not be perfect, like I said, but you have something. And if it's rubbish, you have that from the client. This is rubbish. You're not doing what I want you to do. So you can go back to the drawing board, rework your solution, and then test it again with the client. Risk management is also very, very good because you've broken it into very, very small chunks. So you have very small risks, and then you're able to manage those risks through the process generally. Productivity and transparency. Agile is very, very transparent. So at every point in time, everyone has everyone has access to what's happening, what's going on, and all. And then productivity in the sense that because you've broken it into very, very small chunks of work, is then easier to do the work. But and this is backed up by research. We'll find that when once work is smaller, it's able to go through the system than large chunks of work. So we'll find that it's faster. And I think that's one of the reasons why Agile is getting the kind of attention that it's getting at the moment because of because of the productivity and the time to market aspects to it. And then stakeholder engagement, you are always in tune with your stakeholder. They are involved all through the process. You are checking things with them, you are confirming that's correct. That gives you a good chance of success. Unlike going to build a going to build something and then coming back 5 years later, and then you are hearing about, oh, I didn't remember to tell you that this was what I wanted, or this, or stuff like that. And then you find out that a couple of, we call it missed requirements, and then you find out that there's been a couple of missed requirements that were not accounted for at the onset, and so what you have built is not exactly what the client needs, or you have to change it, or you have to change a couple of things and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess these are the key reasons why Agile is very valuable, and why you find that a lot of companies are beginning to, even companies that are not software related, are beginning to move in the line of Agile, because they want the productivity, they want the comfort that comes with the time to market and risk management of it. So yeah, I guess if I can ask at this point, and this is probably an individual or a personal question, which of these variables will you think is most, or will be most valuable to, say, a client? I mean, productivity and transparency, stakeholder engagement, risk management, and time to market. Which do you think would be most valuable to the client? There's no, just to emphasize, no right answers. Just an individual perspective. But Uzo, yes, you have the floor.
So for me, it's, I would say, the ability to manage stakeholders, because in the sense that you're making agile project management involves a lot of like softwares where you are trying to like develop stuff for users. So being able to get the feedback from users is, and being able to feed that knowledge into what you are producing is quite important, because in the end you need to gain user acceptance and all that. And then one thing for me is the ability to start out from having just 5 ideas, and in the end you're able to build something that is accepted by the users and all meet the target. So I think that's why I feel it's very much valuable.
Thanks, Uzo. I'm conscious that it's just Uzo and Ashabi that have been speaking. I don't know. We have Adirunke, um, Ayo, YK, Okoro. Any thoughts?
Oh, hi. Can you hear
Thanks,
me?
Okoro. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Okoro speaking. Well, I've been listening throughout. I've been quite committed to it actually, but I'm listening. Like I said, it's just like a new experience and a field I want to get into. So that's why I've not been speaking so much. But it's been an interesting session so far. And from all you've said and everything, I think like every other person have said, the two aspects, both the agile and the waterfall, they are both. I think they are project dependent from my understanding so far. It depends on the project one is executing, the end goal of the project, and if the project is open to expansion and all of that. So it depends on the one. But from my perspective so far, I think I enjoyed I enjoyed the aspect of the agile so far, because I like that aspect of upgrade and advancing the project till it is fully executed. So I think I prefer the agile aspect so far. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Okoro. Thank you so much. Any other speakers? So I guess, yeah, one thing that I would say, and that will be very, very useful to notice at the end of the day, wherever you find yourself, you also need to have a good idea of all of them, because you just, like I said, plenty times they are intertwined and used together. So some of them will come naturally, naturally, because you may not even know that this is an aspect of waterfall that we are doing in this project. So over time you learn both of them. So do you're an agile professional, or you're a professional with agile competencies, you just find out you've picked up waterfall knowledge and vice versa. So yeah, just saying that again, we should be open to learning that. I know we're all looking to transition into tech. Truth is, the journey is a learning one. So would learn lots of stuff over time, learn context, because at the end of the day, on any project you learn about the industry, you learn what they are trying to achieve, you learn the technology. Yes, you are not coding, but you're discussing with people who are coding. You're trying to get people who are coding to do their work. So you have to understand, oh, they are doing this is what they are doing. And there'll be meetings that you'll have to join and at least partake or even understand what they are saying, so that based off those agreements, there may be some action items and stuff like that. So you need to learn all those stuff. But like we say, we take it bit by bit. It's a long journey. So in the immediate, we're learning agile, but then when we start to get on those projects, we need to learn, have all those things, have all those knowledge in the background. We'll speak about that in detail on the course anyways, but that's fine. So I'll move to the next page or slide rather. So why should you consider um APM, Agile Project Management, is in high demand. Lots of projects that do not even require Agile are now being used in Agile. So there's a lot of vacancies for that. It's challenging. I think I mentioned that just before we move to this slide. Um, you're doing novel things plenty times, things that no one has done before, things that very few people have done before, risks that you have that you don't know until you start the work. So some of those challenges come up and you have to deal with them on the go. There's opportunities for growth. You can grow into whatever it is, product managers, delivery leads, agile coach, and all that. And then we've also discussed about how financially rewarding it is. And then you're delivering value. You can see the value, you can see the difference it makes in the client. So what I would like to emphasize with this slide is, for some of these character traits, we already have them. And I'm happy for us to use the chart to identify. I've identified about 10 character traits. If you think there are a couple of them that you already have at this moment, you can just pick, but I'll just speak to them and very, very quickly. Leadership, you're leading a team of developers or whatever it is they are, maybe developers, BAs, and all. You have a short time, you're trying to manage the delivery. So you're leading the team. Sometimes you are the responsibility for determining what's the most important thing to do, what next is on your shoulders. So you need to make those decisions. Communications, you need to communicate with your stakeholders, you need to communicate with your team. Every detail, I would say, is about the most important, because everyone has to be on the same page. So you need to communicate, just keep communicating. There's no, I would say there's nothing like over communicating. A lack of or a gap in communication, potentially yes, but re-emphasizing, recommunicating as the information comes, just thinking about who will be impacted by this information, who do we need to share it to and all. But you need to just keep everyone on the same page, so that, because at the end of the day, you find that projects are very, very large, programs are very, very large. There are some projects upstream that are depending on your own outputs. There are some downstream that you depend on. There are stakeholders out there that are waiting to hear from you. So you just need to keep that communication loop going. Collaboration, similar. You're working with people with different backgrounds. You find that, and I'm not trying to slander software engineers, but they're just weird people. You find out some of them don't want to talk, some of them they just have their ways around things. And so you have to collaborate with them. You have to bring them together with testers and the business analysts to get your work moving. Just have to collaborate. you have to be able to bring people together to get the work done, because nothing will be done in isolation. Continuous learning, I think I've spoken about that. We keep learning about stuff, industries. You're a project manager in banking, you get a job in maybe government, you need to start learning how government works. Maybe you're even within the same banking. IT is so large. It's so large. Maybe you were working on something front end before, and all of a sudden you're now back end, talking about APIs, talking about back end solutions and all. Or next thing you find yourself in mobile apps or maybe applications, changing applications. Or SAP, Salesforce, these are so large that they are like an industry on their own. So there are many large aspects, or even data. Virtually everything has a data aspect to it, but data. So it's it, it's so large. It's so large. No one can claim to know everything back end. And even apart from that, just the way we build, the way we deploy, the processes involved, you also have to understand that the technologies you don't have to understand as deeply as say a software engineer would, but you need to be able to communicate. You need to understand what's happening back end. So you need to just have that mindset of continuous learning. um Problem solving, there will be problems. Things will not always go as planned, and so you need to think with the best information you have, decide what the best thing to do. Adaptability, there's always something you need to adapt with. Like I said, there are lots of unknowns with agile, so you are always adapting to one thing or the other. Decision making, similar to what I said, you need to take decisions, you need to solve problems. Empathy, I've not seen any chats, anything in the chat. I know I said if you see any character traits that you think you already have, that would be very helpful anyways. But yeah, we'll get through it. And then flexibility, because things are always changing. You need to be flexible. You need to be able to, in very, very short notice, change, move with the changes, and then organizational skills. So these are very, very nice character traits if you already have them. But if you don't have them, that's fine. You can always learn traits, you can always learn skills, you can always improve. But they are very, very nice to have traits in addition to the actual knowledge of the framework and the skills that you learn on the project. But I guess the point I'm trying to make, I'm not saying the point I'm trying to make is I know prior to now we already have some of this deep down in different degrees. Some of them maybe not expert in it, but on a journey to get into the expert. So these are traits that you already have that you'll be able to bring to the fore on the work you do as a project manager. So just going and very, very quickly into the course. So what do we intend to achieve with the course? Break down in details what the agile methodologies are. You become a specialist in agile methodologies. We'll go through the essential job requirements for the agile project manager, and then we'll teach you all those, and we'll be able to strike. We'll show you strike out. Oh, you now know this. You now know this. You know now know that. Now, yeah, you're fully ready for the job market. Hands-on experience with tools. So we'll show you how to use these tools, how they can be used. We'll do role playing to bring it to life. Oh, this is a situation of things come together. How do we go about it? And how is it done? We'll play the roles and until we're all perfect with it. Like I said, preparation for the exams and certification. There'll be opportunities to network with people who are more experienced in the professional, and then interview practices as well. And maybe a few drop-in sessions with more experienced people that you can learn from their experiences, learn what is it is in real life, so that you, you don't just have one perspective to the role. You have from several other experienced people that can show you how to go about it. Like I said at the onset, a lot of this depends on the information you have. It's critical to get as much information, to soak up as much information as you can, so that you're best placed for those interviews when they come. So yeah, this will be what to expect from the course. And then what's the training approach? We've tried to keep it interactive today. We'll continue to keep that interactive. We'll continue to use real world example to bring what we are saying to life so that you can understand clearly what the concepts that we are discussing about. Like I said, there would be guest speakers from time to time that you can learn from their experiences and learn from them, opportunities to network, continuous feedback, just like Agile, continually get your feedback so that we can improve processes that are not working, incorporate new processes that help you in learning well and preparation for your exams. And then mentorship, again, in our local balance, follow who know road. That's very, very key, especially in a new country, in a job market that you don't understand very clearly, in a new industry and in a new role. You need people that can hold your hand and take you through the process. So um I see a question, so I'm trying to go to the chat to see, but for some reason my system is very slow.
Do you want me to read it for you?
Happy, thank you, David.
Is the training going to be based on APMG or Prince 2 or APM Agile syllabus? I don't know what those are, by the way.
It's going to be based on PSM syllabus, professional Scrum Master syllabus.
Okay. Uzo, does that answer
But
your
then,
question?
like I said, once you have an Agile certification, is good enough. So once you have an Agile certification, you are fine. The key thing will be um, the real world examples, will be the role playing, will be um, role playing, exposure to those practical aspects, because that's what would separate you in interview conditions. You need to show them that you know what you're doing. You need to show them that you're good, that you have a good command of these tools, that you understand the sector that you are applying into. Of course, we know the way certifications can be. It opens the door for you to those interviews, but then that conversation is key. So once you're able to convince them that you know what you're doing, yeah.
Yep,
So
it's
so
good.
so so I think, like I said, I think the point I was trying to make was that PSM is fine. If you want other certification, that's also fine. But PSM is a good first step, and will be a good door opener to interviews. And what you really need is the experience to be able to speak confidently in interviews, such that you'll be regarded as someone that knows clearly what you're doing. Okay, thank you. I think we just have one more slide after the, just more like conversations from people that in my personal capacity I've supported in trying to get roles in several IT roles. So just wanted to share that so that you also have a feel of some of the things that I've done in past. Again, in personal, these are friends and families, not exactly. So, and I believe that this can convince you that if I've supported people in the past, that at least to give you more confidence in my abilities to be able to support people throughout the process of securing a role, I guess.
Yep.
So if there are no other questions, I think um uh, if there are no questions, this is a good place, or this is supposed to be the end of my own speech. But then I'm happy to take questions related to anything Agile Project Management.
Cool. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any question for Tolu before I come and say my own? Does anybody have any question for Tolu? Okay. How about you just tell me how you feel about the course? Like, what are your feelings? What are your thoughts? What have you taken out of today? Let's start from there. I have some other things that I want to touch on because I know ultimately the goal is to try and get a job in the field. Ultimately, but the one thing that we need to understand, but we sort of like to run away from, is that things have processes. Like these things, there's a process to everything. There's a process to everything. Firstly, think even the process of getting a job, there's a process to it. So, for example, if you're applying for jobs and you're only getting rejection emails, you're not even getting to do interviews. It's simple. It means the CV is bad, right? That's what it means. If you're getting screening calls, because that's what happens. You apply for a job, you get a screening call, then you get an interview, maybe 2 stages interview before you get the offer. That's the process. If you're not even getting the screening calls in the first place, it means the CV is bad because the requirement or the key to unlock the first process of the screening calls is a good CV. The key to unlock the second process of an interview is a good CV and an impressive screening call. So there are different doors, there are different stages that have different keys. The key to unlock the job itself is a good CV, an impressive performance on the screening call, an amazing performance during the interview, and then you get the job. So there's a process. You don't just go from 0 to 100. That's the thing. But before you can even start the process of getting a job, the very first step is to even know your stuff, because there is no way you can ace the screening call or have an amazing interview if you don't even have the knowledge of what you're meant to talk about. I know everybody wants the job, everybody wants to make the money, but there is a process. Every single one of us in the field today, it took time. It took a lot of work. There's no magic wand, and that's the honest truth. It took a lot of work. There's no magic wand. So if you can just calm down, put in the work with the right guidance, which is in myself and Tolu, I can guarantee you, we will get the keys that we need to open those doors. Obviously, we're not God. We don't have any hack, but because we've been there, we have a lot of experience that we can draw from, and that's the simple truth. So yes, we're here to sell a course. But as I've told you, at the academy, our ultimate success story is not the course completion. It's when you go into the market and when you actually do something. Then I can say, okay, yes, this is somebody that we trained, and we've already put in the industry. That's the success story for us. So whatever support we can give you, we will definitely give you. Interview preps, CV and all of that. We certainly will do it for you. And just while the course was going, while it was talking, I actually went on LinkedIn to just check out jobs for this particular role, because there are many courses. So for anybody that wants to do a course now, the options joke. There are many courses. But then how do you decide what course to do is usually the real question. And I have a simple way to do it. First one is the first thing to check for is the demand. You should not be learning a course that does not have a demand. It's a waste of time. So I went on LinkedIn straight away to check. I checked for the UK. I don't know if anybody is outside the UK, because we have students from US and Canada sometimes. And I just checked for project manager for entry level and internships. So I'm very specific in what I'm searching. Entry level and internships. So I've not gone for associates. I've not gone for mid senior. I've gone for like beginner level, which is where many starters will be. And once you do a job search on LinkedIn, and you have come on, scroll down. Just give me 1 second. Something is freezing here. Once you do a job search on LinkedIn and you have quite a number of pages on the job search, that tells you there is a demand somewhere. So there are 3 pages here. So that tells you there's a strong demand for the skill. Okay. And all of them are project manager, junior project manager. This is an example of an entry level agile role. Because most of the agile projects, I believe, are digital transformation. So this is an example. So yes, the demand is there. That's the point that I'm trying to make. The demand is there. Probably not. It's still competitive, but when you go into competition with better preparation than the other people, then you stand a good chance. Okay, I'm not ignorant of the fact that the goal at the end of the day is to get a job. I am not ignorant of the fact. There are many courses online. And also there's a question of, well, you can take courses on Udemy, on Coursera, and all of that. It's not exactly the same than when you're led like in a live training. It's not the same. Okay, it's not the same. What you get on Udemy and what you get on an actual person training you, someone that you can pause, ask questions, it's not the same as when you do online courses. So that's the difference. So if anybody here is still sort of undecided as to why you should join the course, I want to hear what your concerns are, and I want to be able to address them. So if there's anybody here that is still torn between, I mean, I like the course. I think I want to go ahead with it, but I'm just not sure I want to commit. Even if the problem is the price, whatever it is, I actually want to hear it. Okay, I want to hear it. So if there's anybody here that is still sort of in that crossroads of go or no go, where you're still there, like you're still struggling to make that decision as to whether or not you should go ahead with course. I want to know what the problem is, and I want to help you fix the problem if I can. So is there anybody like that on this call right now? Because what we've done now is just like a test session. There's an actual course that is more robust, that goes more in depth, that actually helps you, that equips you to have the knowledge that you need to unlock those doors that I mentioned. First, the CV part, the screening call, the interview, and the actual job. There's a process, but the first step of that process is actually knowing what you want to do, having the knowledge. Without the knowledge, I can cook up a CV for you. You get the screening call, but I promise you, when you get to interview, you'll fumble. It's not hard. As someone that has recruited people before, it's not hard to see someone that is just making noise. It's not even hard to see someone that is just lying on their CV. You can, within minutes, you can tell straight away that this person doesn't know what they're talking about. And you don't want to be that guy. I did Power BI for 6 months and I got a lead role. I got the lead role not because my Power BI was great, to be very honest. It was basic. As a matter of fact, I had never built one single dashboard in my life before I got this job. Not one. I've only been editing people's dashboards. Like, oh, David, go and change the color of this. That's what I was doing. I've never built from scratch. And I went from that to it. Why? Because when it got to the interview, even though I wasn't building those dashboards, I understood what was happening and I could speak. I could talk. Okay. So that interview part is probably the most important part. But without the knowledge, you can't give what you don't have in an interview. Okay. I'm just trying to make that case as to why it's important to go for the course, why when you compare with other alternatives, it's better to go for a live trainer because yes, these courses are on Udemy, I know. Yes, they're on Coursera, I know. But are they the same? Absolutely not. Okay, so I'm going to leave things there. Are there any comments, questions before we wrap things up for today? Uzo, Okoro, Aderonke, YK, Bayo, have you got anything to say? Do you basically everything? Okay, go on.
David, the aside this, is it possible to have your email or like to reach out to you on something? Pertaining this
Yeah,
actually, but I'd like to have the
yeah.
conversation.
I'll put an email address in the chat now that anybody is free to reach me on.
All right, thank you so
So
much.
it's admin@davidari.tech. Anybody can reach me there and I'll respond. So I just put in the chat for any other person. So if you have other issues that you like, Ayo, for example, send me an email. So for example, if you need like a different sort of payment plan or you want like a customized payment structure, send me the email. Let's talk. It's not a problem. As I said, if at the end of the day you get into the industry, you get the job, I promise you that is more important to me than the money that you paid. 100%. And I'm not just saying that to patronize you. That's what I live for. Those success stories. That's what I live for. So yes, if you need any help, any kind of help, don't think it's not possible. I mean, that's why we've gone through the process of bringing Klarna to the website. Anything to make it easy for you to learn. Honestly, anything. We adjusted the time to be just 1 day a week, just because people felt okay. Every day is difficult to catch. Whatever help you need, honestly, whatever help you need, we just want to help you. We genuinely care. So our core structures is not just talk. It's actually real. It's real. So if there's any help you need, if there's anything you need, please by all means reach out and we're more than happy to help. Yeah. So I think that's it for today. Tolu, any final words before I wrap things up officially? And also at the end of this course, this is going to go on our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel. So you can just search David Ade Academy on YouTube. The BA course from last week is there. If you want to watch and see what happened there, you can. This course will also go. So if you have friends that maybe wanted to watch this, listen to this, but for some reason they could not attend, it will be on YouTube for them to catch up on. Okay. So yeah, that's fine. And yeah, again, if you have any questions, please just shoot me an email. And also when you go on the website, davidadi.tech, the live chat actually works. So it's not dummy. Like there's a live chat button there. If you click on it and actually chat, you will be chatting to me directly. So the live chat works. If you need to reach me, do anything, go in there, type in your message, and I'll respond to you in real time. Okay. Yeah. Tolu, any final words?
Yeah, just to thank you all again for listening. If you need any clarification about anything, please do reach out. You can reach out to David If he needs to reach me, we'll clarify on time. If you need any special accommodation, like you just mentioned, please reach out. We'll sort that out. But yeah, looking forward to working with as many as possible in your agile journey. Thank you.
Yeah, and just on the final note, look, I understand the market. I know there are many people training. I get it. I'm not here trying to behave as if I don't know. I know there are thousands of people doing different kind of training. But the one thing I can tell you for sure, I am the one speaking to you here. The business is in my name. The school is in my name. I am accessible. I am reachable. If there is any problem, there is anything you're not happy with, I am not far. I am not far. As a matter of fact, just to give you an example of the extent that we can go through for certain things. There are people that started my Power BI course in December, but for some reason they could not finish. I think one had a child or something. I re-enrolled them automatically without a single charge. Okay. So I've enrolled them into 2 different cohorts for the fee of one because I genuinely want them to do well. I genuinely want to. I need those success stories. So we care. We are not. Yes, we're a business. Yes, we want the money, but I promise you, more than anything else, we really want people to do well. We genuinely want people to do well. So please, if you have any questions, you have doubts, you need help with anything, please reach out. I'm very accessible. I'm sure many of you saw this from Twitter. I'm very accessible. DM, mention, emails, whatever you need. I'm happy to help. Okay. I think on that note, I'm happy to bring things to a close if there are no questions. And thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you, Tolu. Thank you very much.